Hey, it's Mega, aka the Art Messiah, here to save you from your art sins. Welcome back to another art tutorial. Today we're going to be doing the part 2 of how to draw the mouth. Now, in the previous part, we learned how to draw the mouth closed from both the front, 3/4, and side view. And today we're going to be doing the same views but with the mouth open. So we're going to go ahead and jump right into this one. Make sure to like and subscribe if this is the type of content that you want to see. And let's get right into it. So I want to start off showing the skull because we need to learn what the function is. First, I'm going to use a point to kind of represent where the pivot joint is for the lower jaw. And then I'm using this red outline to show the lower jaw in total. Now I'm going to kind of select this and just kind of show how this rotates. The lower jaw is able to rotate, and that is basically what it is working when you are talking or opening your mouth, eating, whatever the case may be. Your lower jaw is doing the movement, not the upper. The upper is static, okay? And so we need to just pay attention to that function because that's going to be important in how we do the proportions and how we show the lower jaw moving down and the mouth opening up. Now, let's take a look at this front view, and basically this center line is going to be shifted downwards when that lower jaw is opening up. So we're going to keep that in mind as we go through this. So I drop in my center line, my horizontal one and my vertical one, and then I come through and I start drawing the upper lip, which is going to be moved slightly upwards when your mouth is opening. Remember, the top kind of remains static, okay, but what is really doing all the change is the bottom portion of the mouth. So I'm quickly coming in here and sketching in this bottom portion of the mouth, and something like this works well. I kind of think of this shape as a looking like a D turned sideways, like facing downwards, and that is, you know, the basic idea and proportions of the mouth being open. But of course we're going to add in the detail and everything as well. So I come in and I add in the upper lip, and I come in and add the lower lip. A few things that I want to take note of is that the lip is being stretched out when you open or close your mouth. So I typically make the lips look, I guess, less full, you know, a little bit thinner, a little bit more stretched out, you know. So compared to that view right above it where the lips look a little bit fuller, you know, this is going to be a variation from that. Now I do draw on the same shapes that we used from that first video to kind of again show these different planes for the mouth, which are very important when we're going to be adding in the highlights. Now I'm showing the skull again because I want to show that curvature of the teeth, and that's basically what we're going to be representing with this darker line that I've drawn. And I want to let you guys in on a secret. Basically, you want to group all the teeth into one line instead of individual teeth, and then you want to just show basically kind of like these hooked teeth right at the end. And I want to show you how the individual teeth look kind of weird, so don't draw the teeth individually. Instead, what I like to do is just group them all together, and then maybe just show a little bit of the gums to show the impression of the separation of the teeth. But you don't want to draw really hard lines in between the teeth. That's going to make it look like a cartoon drawing or like a kid drew it. So again, just kind of show the gums like I am showing now. So I'm going to go in and add in just a little bit more detail, clean things up a little bit, and then we're going to start working on the tongue. Now the tongue can be represented by these two curved lines at the edge, just like shown, and you can add in some shading to show the depth, and maybe even a little bit of shading on the upper part of that tongue to show the cast shadow that the upper part of the mouth is. And then you can show the split of the tongue, where the tongue is actually kind of made up of these two meaty kind of like sections, and so you can show that split in the middle, but be very cautious about that. Don't make that line too dark or it'll look strange. And again, I'm drawing the tongue off to the side, and you can see how it's kind of like a leaf shape that has a split running down that middle. And that's basically what you want to be thinking about when you're drawing the tongue. So I'm just going to go in and kind of, do a little bit more cleanup, but that's basically what the mouth looks like in an open position. Alright, so let's move on to this 3/4 view. And we're going to drop in our horizontal center line and our vertical center line and 2 dimple points for the width of the mouth. And then we can jump in and we can kind of draw the shape of the open mouth. And what you're going to see is that you're going to have a very gradual curve on the left side and then a very sharp curve on the right side. And that's because this idea of perspective, this idea of the mouth now turning away from you, so now one side is longer and one side is cut a little bit shorter. Okay, and so I'm going to kind of explain this view in a more anime style up top here, and you might see it a little bit more exaggerated, a little bit taller, and you're going to see the shape a lot in anime. So I'm going to go ahead and take this and put this off to the side as well, but I do want you guys to be aware that you can exaggerate the shape a little bit. So basically in this view we're starting to see the inside of the mouth, and so I just want to kind of dash in that shadow there because that's actually, you're starting to see the inside of the mouth more. But we're going to go ahead and add in the anatomy, so we're going to add that U and the wing shapes coming out for that top lip, and we're going to make sure those are connected to that dimple point we've decided. And then in the bottom lip we have those 2 planes that we are quickly sketching out, and again connecting that to the dimple point. Alright, so let me erase that line just to make this a little bit clearer. And from there, we're going to start talking about the teeth a little bit. And the teeth are important to get right. And basically in this view, you're starting to see the teeth wrap around. So take a look at that, how that the teeth are wrapping around there. And then we want to draw the end points. And we would want to draw like that tongue in. So remember, it starts from about the top of your mouth and it comes down and it goes into your bottom teeth, and it's optional to show these bottom teeth in this view or not, just depends how the person is talking or smiling or whatever the case may be. But you can go ahead and show those teeth down there as well, but only show just a little bit of them if you are going to show them. Now I'm going to be honest, it can be a little tricky to make sure everything's in the right place, so we are going to be doing a live session to talk about how to draw this mouth in open positions. We're going to look at all these different angles, but just want to give you guys a start. Now a lot of artists like to show that shade in the mouth right there, and that's basically to show that there's a cast shadow inside here and we're looking at the inside of the mouth. And yeah, that pretty much concludes the 3/4 view. I'm just going to clean up the lines a little bit so you guys can see what the end result looks like. But let's go ahead and move into this last view, the side view. So we're going to go ahead and draw in that horizontal center line and that vertical center line. Now that vertical center line is now going to be all the way pushed to the right, and we're only going to see 1/2 of the mouth. And so we draw this curve going to that center line, and then a bottom curve going to that center line as well. So it's pretty much half of that D that we had drawn in that very first view. Okay, so there is something that I want to explain at this point in time, and it's this shape that we're going to be seeing with the open mouth, where basically what I like to imagine is that you have this piece of paper that's folded in half, and basically that represents your lips, and when your lips open up, it basically kind of creates this clamshell kind of look. And so this is your mouth pretty much open, and this is the shape that you get, and this is what we need to be aware of. And so in the side view, it looks like a Pac-Man mouth, right? You're not able to see that right edge anymore, so that right edge is gone, and you only see kind of that left edge because it eclipses the right edge, if that makes any sense. So we need to keep that in mind when we're doing a completely side profile. I show right there that you can draw in a little bit of that other side of the mouth, just depending on what angle it is. But typically, I shouldn't say typically, but that could be eclipsed. And so I just want you guys to be aware of that. So we go ahead and draw on this upper lip, And we're going to go ahead and draw in this bottom lip as well. Alright, so now that we got both of these lips kind of drawn in, I want to point out that I did something wrong on purpose to show you guys, and that is that this lower part of the mouth is coming out too far. It's coming all the way out to that vertical center line, and I want to show you guys why this is wrong. Basically, we have to think about the skull again, and we have to think that this jaw is actually pivoting downwards, right? So all of this jaw is rotating. It's not just going straight down, and so when it pivots backwards like that, we're going to notice that the point on that lip is actually going to be moving backwards into the face a little bit instead of just dropping straight down. So I want to come in and I want to draw that bottom lip in its natural position where it would be on this vertical line. And then I want to swing that lip downwards, rotating along that pivot point of the jaw. And we notice that that end point should actually be further in. And so I'm trying to show basically the difference between the two. So we're going to erase that back up into that point. And we're going to redraw that bottom lip, something a little bit more like this. Now, I encourage you to use a camera or a mirror and kind of see how this works yourself, and how this changes as you open and close your mouth. That's going to help you a lot in figuring out the muscles that are pulling that face and what is going on. Alright, so now that we got the lips situated, it's time to kind of jump into the teeth. And the teeth sit right inside those lips, so we're going to draw a line down like this, and then draw a line back that is going to be a little bit obscured by the mouth, the opening of the mouth, the lips. And then you can kind of draw on this little bump in the teeth. I know a lot of artists like to do that, but it's not necessary. Then I'm going to show the teeth in the background kind of wrapping around, and maybe just a little bit of the tongue you'll be able to see, just depending on what's kind of going on with this pose. If someone's talking and they're talking with their tongue, then you might be able to see a little bit of it. But yeah, that's about it. And that actually concludes all the different views. Hopefully you guys got something out of these tutorials. Maybe it's something that you didn't quite yet know about, some of the mistakes that people are making and why some of the simplifications of the mouth the way they are. But of course there's a lot more to explain. So if you guys are interested in learning more, come out to my live stream. I try to typically do those on Wednesdays at 8 p.m. and I may do one dedicated to drawing the mouth, so you guys can come out, ask questions, draw the mouth at all these different angles, and really get comfortable with what's going on. Anyways, until next time, peace, love, and keep on drawing.